Hi guys, a very good morning to all of you. I hope all of you are doing very well. I'm back with another useful content for you guys. So the topic for today's session is how to configure multiple data sources in a data page. Okay, so let's get started. So let me log into the application. Let us switch back to the Dev Studio. Okay, so before getting started, right, let us try to understand few basics about data page. Okay, so where do you find the data page? So you can go to the Records Explorer, you can expand the category data model, and under that, you should be able to see data page. So when we click on it, all the instances of the data page that is present in our application, those will be listed. So let me just open one of the existing data pages and let us try to talk about it. So first things first, what is the data page and why do we need it? So in Pega, there are scenarios wherein, we end up getting the data from multiple places. So it can be from some external system. It can be from our Pega DB, the database. So in those cases, in these scenarios wherein, you frequently need to fetch the data from somewhere, use it in your Pega application in various forms. Like it can be throughout your case lifecycle, or it can be only, in a particular screen wherein we need to use this data. So instead of hitting the DB or the external system again and again, Pega has introduced the concept of data pages. So using data pages, you can store the data locally. So you can hit the DB, you can fetch the data, store it in the data page, and then in your application or in your case lifecycle, you can use these data pages. Okay. So this is a very simple and basic explanation of what is a data page in Pega. Now, data page has various aspects. For example, a data page can be of type list or page. If you can see my screen, right? So the structure of the data page. So a data page can be of list type, wherein, it can have a list of results, or it is also possible for a data page to return the result of type page. So in that case, it will just be one page of results that this data page would fetch for us. Next is the object type. So object type is basically the class of the data that we are going to fetch via this data page. Next thing is mode. So a data page can be, a read-only data page wherein you trigger the data source, you get the data, and then you do not touch the data at all. Like it will be in read-only mode. You can just refer it. So in those cases, the mode will be read-only mode. There are also other options, like you can have an editable data page, and a savable data page also is something that was introduced, as part of Pega 7.x. Then comes the scope. So this data page can be of thread scope or requester scope or node scope. So there are, different examples wherein we end up creating a node level data page, or we end up creating a requester level data page, or a thread level data page. Another important thing is there's something called keyed page access. What is this? So first thing is keyed page access is a configuration or an option that is applicable only for a list type of data page. If you notice, as soon as I change the structure to page, right, this option will go away. So this is something that keyed page access is something which is only applicable to list type of data page. Now what it does? So if you want to use a data page both as a list and as a page, then this configuration comes into picture. For example, this data page, the underscore open positions list, this will return a list of open positions. But if we want to use the same data page to return us only one page or a unique, result from that list of results, then what we do, we select this checkbox and we give the page list case. So page list case is nothing. It will just be like a unique way of fetching one single record from the list of results. Okay. So that is what a keyed page access configuration is in the database. If you guys want, I can make, specific videos and explain any of these uh, topics or the points that I'm, just briefing you guys. In today's session, I am going to concentrate specifically on the data source. Okay, so data source is basically how the data is going to be fetched. Now, there are multiple options or multiple sources that your data page can have. Like I told, right, you might be fetching data from an external system. So in that case, you need to select connector as the source. You need to have a connect rest rule, and that connect rest rule will take care of having the logic of how you want to fetch the data from the external system. Similar to that, there are these many options that your data page can have as sources. Um, so if you see, right, as of now, if you observe this data page, right, it is just having one single data source, which is the report definition. The requirement that we are going to do today is, what if I want to have, more than one data sources on a conditional basis? So that is what we also known as, multi sources, or sometimes we also use the term aggregate data sources, okay, in a data page. So that is the topic for today. So the use case that we are going to do is something like this. So I have a case type. Let me create it and show. So in this screen, right, if you see, this is a very simple UI that I have built. If you observe this table portion of the screen, right, so this is basically going to give the list of all open positions available. But if you observe the column one, right, the technology, so right now it is giving us all the data, right? It gives me options, job openings for, technology, Python, Java, Pega, automation, and so on. What I want to do now is, once the user creates this recruitment case, they enter their details and they enter the domain. So, for example, if I enter domain as Pega, what I want is, I want the below table to be filtered, and I just want the results pertaining to technology Pega to be displayed. Okay. Similarly, if I give domain as Python, I want that this results, this data set be filtered, and only matching the results for technology Python be shown on the UI. So this is the use case that we are going to configure. And here, see, again, there are multiple options and multiple approaches to solving a problem in Pega. I'm going to implement this by demonstrating multi-data sources. Okay, so already there is a data page that we have as of now. I'm going to modify it and I'm going to use multiple data sources, and based on this particular field value, right, domain, the results will be filtered. So that's the use case. I hope it is clear. Now let's go and start doing the configuration. So I haven't done any configuration yet. I would do it right now, like, so that you guys also, get familiar. Okay, so let's get started. So as of now, if you, let me actually open the section and show you the current configuration of the table. Okay, so if you see, right, this table is what we are talking about. So right now it is having a data page, the underscore open positions list. So this is the same data page that, I was showing you guys, and when I was trying to brief about a data page. So right now it is, actually it's a OOTB, it's not a OOTB as such, but it's the data page that gets created when I initiated or created this particular data type. So if you see, right, I have a list of data already in this data type called open positions. Okay, and I'm using the data page that Pega has created for us when I created this particular data type, right? I'm just using it for now. This is the one, the underscore open positions list. Okay, so now let's try to modify this. So first of all, I will not touch existing rule. I will try to create it with a new name. Okay, so let's call it multi-source. Okay, this is something that we are going to give. Why not? Multi-source. Okay, so I'm going to name my data pages the underscore open positions list multi-source. Okay, the class is correct, the rule set is correct. So let's do create an open. Okay, now coming to data sources. So how do you add multiple data sources? For that, there is this link, right? Add alternative source. So let's click on it. So as soon as we do that, right, you will observe that there is a if otherwise option that comes up. So obviously, when you want to have multiple data source, right, it has to be conditional. Like for example, if condition A satisfies, then this particular source will be used to fetch the data. Otherwise, this particular source will be used to fetch the data. So in our case, the condition that we are going to write, that will be based on the value that the user has entered on this property called domain. Okay, so that would be our criteria for deciding which data source needs to be used. So let's do that. Let's create a when role actually is let's have it in the base class for now. One more thing, let me quickly see the class where this property is located, because I need to, this is, okay, this is so currently in the work class, I need to use it in the data class also. So let me put it at the base class level so that it will be, reusable from both the places. Okay, so coming back, so if the domain property has a value, Pega, then this particular when rule will become true, right? This technology Pega is our when rule. Let's go back to our here. Now, let's have the data in the form of report definition. So I'll save as this existing report definition role with a new name. Let's call it open position Pega. Okay, create an open. Let's go down and let's give a filter. So technology is the column is equal to Pega. So when this happens, let's run this and see what data is coming. If you see, right, this particular report definition is returning us only two results because in the data type, I have only two records pertaining to technology Pega. Okay, so our report definition is working fine. Now let's use this in the data page. Okay. Open positions, Pega. So this is our first data source. So is technology Pega. If this when rule becomes true, it will give us only the open positions for Pega, right? Otherwise, it will give us all the results. So this is the current configuration of our data page. Let's run this data page once. So if you see, right, PX result count is 6 because we have not passed any, we have not done any filter. So basically the otherwise condition gets triggered, wherein it gives us all the 6 results. Okay, so this is working as per expectation. Now let's use this on the UI and let's see at section level how this works. So this is our new data page. Let's go to table. Let's change it. Okay, so the underscore open position list multi-source is our new data page. Let's save it. Let's try to refresh and see what is happening. Okay, so as of now, domain doesn't have any value. So all the 6 results or the 6 records are coming in. Let's try to give domain as Pega and see if something happens. So right now, nothing is happening. The results are not getting, filtered based on the domain that we have entered. So the reason for this is because we have not configured, any refresh or any on change on this field. So there is no way in which our, data page will reload and the results will get filtered. So how do we need to fix this issue? I purposefully did this because I wanted to show you guys this is something that we, end up doing in our day-to-day life as well. So on change, as soon as there is a change happening in this domain field, what do we want to do? We want to refresh the section. Okay. Submit. Save. Also, let's put this on trace. Okay. Let's see what is going wrong. Okay, if you see here, right, is technology Pega is becoming false. Let's see why. Okay, probably there is another issue because the value that we have done, right, that does not get posted without a save or submit, right? So we are not submitting it. So what we need to do is first we need to ensure that the value that we have entered, the user have entered on this domain field that gets posted, right? So for that, we need to use post value, and then we need to refresh. Okay, so that's another small mistake. But guys, this is normal. Okay, so when we code and when we do the changes on any of the user story, this is how you configure something, then you unit test it. It doesn't work, then you trace it. So this is how you learn. Okay, I'm just trying to show you the raw version of how we build or develop user stories on a day-to-day basis.
So let's test it out.
Let me give the domain as Pega and click out. So if you see, right, we entered the domain as Pega, the when rule became true, and our results got filtered. Okay, if I need some other technology, so the otherwise condition should hit and we should be seeing all the results. Okay, so this is how you end up writing a data page with multiple data sources, and that data source will be conditional. I hope this section was helpful. I hope you guys got a intro and a very basic, detailed explanation of how you have multi data sources. Um, Feel free to post your questions. Feel free to let me know if you want to make me do videos on any of the content that you are interested in. I would be more than happy to do that. Thank you so much for listening in. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye.